You're watching the Hong Kong Racing Show. Andrew Brown and Alex Evers with you for a jam-packed show ahead. Shortly, we'll be joined by our special guest, 2 times Breeders' Cup winning trainer Jose D'Angelo, to recap those big 2 wins on the world stage at Del Mar last weekend, and also to find out which of his horses we're going to see in Hong Kong next month. He has a couple entered for the sprint and the mile. Looking forward to catching up with Jose shortly. Also looking forward to reviewing and previewing everything that's been going on in Hong Kong over the last week or so. But firstly, Alex, have you recovered from Breeders' Cup yet?
We're about 80% recover. We're still, I took it to 0. I emptied the tank and then some, and I'm feeling the repercussions of those actions, but it was a wonderful Breeders' Cup. And Brownie, I don't want to pump my own tires because they're heavily inflated right now, but my picks, if you did the exacta boxes, big exacta box guy, that returned, I think it was what I sent you yesterday. It was like $168 on a $30 investment. So we're fired up, and I play my own bets, so I'm a happy guy. We got a lot of money to go lose bet Sha Tin this weekend.
No, well played with your picks. Also well played with your other picks, your photograph picks as well, which were sensational throughout the week. Fair to say the highlight for you was Forever Young?
Yeah, Forever Young paying us back. And again, like for the analyst segment of our show last week, all we should have said is Romantic Warrior's like one of the best horses beyond 1,200 meters in the world. Forever Young beat him. That's all we needed to know. We should have taken the mortgage, the rents, the 401ks, everything, and chunked it on Forever Young. And in fact, had Sovereignty been in, I probably would have had more money on him because the price would have been much nicer. But
yeah.
Great to see Forever Young win and validate the form. And I looked at my mate, Chris Krestic, who has helped me out fire the cameras right after the race, and we both had chills. And the first thing that came to mind was, how good's Golden 60? Because Romantic Warrior couldn't beat him. Forever Young got over the top of him, and look what Forever Young has done. You know, the barometer right there. I was going to take a chance to hype up the great one.
Well, we are talking about turf and dirt as well here as well, right? That was Romantic Warrior's only run on the dirt when they met in Saudi. Have we got the prospect of a mouthwatering rematch between those two in Saudi? Is this what's brewing, Alex?
It looks like it is. And, you know, I don't know how much the difference is between them. Romantic Warrior getting a step older, Forever Young getting older as well, and filling out into that, you know, man form. He looked great again this week, just so big. And then mixing your boy Nisos.
Yeah.
We got to get journalism there too. Like they're talking about Pegasus with him, but that track is so hard to close on. Biasly, and I also think he'd run well there. I think he can handle the turf as well with the pedigree, but if we could get those 4 there in the Saudi Cup for 20 million, throw another 20 million at it, make it a $40 million race.
It'd be absolutely sensational. Well, what a weekend it was in Del Mar. And yeah, as I mentioned before, looking forward to catching up with Jose D'Angelo shortly, who managed to win 2 races in the space of an hour. And one of his horses is on the entry list for the Hong Kong Sprint, which is going to be exciting stuff. All right, time to dive into some of the latest news that's been happening in Hong Kong. And let's start firstly with IJC. The names released this week, and what a blockbuster IJC this is going to be. Absolutely stacked. Some of these names: Ryan Moore, William Buick. We've got, of course, Zach Purton, the Magic Man, Joe Moreira, Christophe Lemaire, James McDonald. And I think we can somehow claim a little bit of the responsibility for this, maybe just a smidgen of the responsibility. Representing the United States of America, Umberto Rispoli is heading back to Hong Kong. How good is this going to be, Alex?
It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be really fun to see Umby back there at Happy Valley and in Hong Kong. Hopefully he can grab some mounts on the day. I heard an interview with him, or it was actually your interview, where he was saying he's gonna start studying the form and getting back to his old agenting days of hustling his own rides. But it looks like it's setting up to be a wonderful, wonderful event. And we got 2 spots left up for grabs. We got a local rider spot, and we got the second in the riding standings behind the legend and perennial superstar champion jockey, Zach Purton. So we got a lot to follow here, Brownie, in the next 20 days, because it shuts down on the 26th of November. So the wins count up to that point, and then we'll know who's going to be the remaining 2 riders. But right now, is it Ferraris Ferraris is in second, and Vincent Ho leads the local riders. Apprentices can't ride, so that blocks out Ellis Wong or Brittany. But those are the things we're going to be looking forward to in the next couple of weeks, Brownie.
Yeah, I'm sure Huey Bowman will want to get back there again. He was part of it last year. He's just one off Lyle. So yeah, it's going to be exciting stuff over the next few weeks to see who takes those last two spots. Ryan Moore as well, hopeful of a return. I'm not sure if it's 100% confirmed that he's going to be right for Hong Kong, but he's certainly been named and is always a great addition. What would happen if he doesn't make it?
I don't know. Maybe Toby will pinch in for him. Hey, he's riding super well right now too. But I think you were saying Moreira's already in, so I would imagine they would fill it in with another international rider, but I'm not sure who at this point. Maybe Johnny V. I'll throw that out there. We're a big marketing agent for these guys. We just keep pushing out the good word about the talented jockeys. It'd actually be fun to see Johnny V over there, especially after he got his experience riding over in the Melbourne Cup.
No, it'd be sensational. I don't think we've seen a rider representing America in IJC since probably Mike
Pratt.
Smith. Oh, Pratt,
Pratt rode in 17, but I don't know if he's representing America or France. I think he'd be representing America.
Okay, interesting.
We got to get Umby the jacket with the American flag and the Italian flag.
That'll be awesome. I can't wait. I think he's very pumped. And speaking of that interview that you just mentioned prior, I did catch up with Umberto after the news did come out that he has been listed on the jockeys to go back to Hong Kong for the IJC. Here he is. Umbi, what does it mean to you to be heading back to Hong Kong for IJC?
Look, it's always a privilege to go back there. You know, I spent most of the years of my life as a person and as a jockey. So I'm grateful this call happened. You know, I've been trying to riding the IJC for a long, long time. So looks like this year is going to be the year. So very, very excited. Can't wait to be out there, honestly.
What are you looking forward to doing most when you get to Hong Kong?
Well, I will let Kimberly set up the program. You know, we got a lot of friends over there. Obviously, you know, enjoy as much as the time as I can. Obviously, see some good friends, some oldest friends in the jocks room. Definitely some trainers. Then you know, I'm still in touch with and obviously, you know, try to win the IJC. I'm not go there for holiday. Definitely not. You know, I want to go there. I want to do the best as I can, and if it's possible, I know it's going to be competitive, of course, but you know the goal is to go there and win the IJC for sure.
Awesome, and I guess another goal might be to pick up a few rides on the Sunday.
Yes, I'm looking for that. So I'm gonna start to study some races from going, you know, from now to go forward, and you know, start to go back when I used to do agent myself. So I try to pick up some good horses. It will be great to try some of the biggest races in the international, and look, see what happens.
We can't wait to see you in Hong Kong. Congratulations. And bring it on.
Thank you. Thanks, Andrew.
So hopefully Umbi sticks around for the Sunday as well and picks up a couple of rides. Perhaps Gold Phoenix. No decision there on Gold Phoenix yet. He ran another fantastic race in the Breeders' Cup turf. The first American horse home yet again, I think for the third straight year. So phenomenal stuff. So Phil's just sort of waiting to see how the horse comes out of the race and then plot his next move with Gold Phoenix. But I'm sure Umberto will be working the phones and being his own agent again, like you just mentioned there, Alex.
Yeah, and the boys are going to probably have a great time over there because Hayden was so little when he left. So getting to be around all those great jockeys. I've seen the Instagram photos of them posing with Buick and Barcelona. Yeah. And, you know, it's going to be like Christmas come early for the Rispoli boys.
No, it'll be certainly really cool. Also on the list, it was great to see Holly Doyle, who's going to be part of IJC, ride a winner at Happy Valley on Wednesday. She's kick-started her most recent stint there. I think it's about a 6 or a 7 week stint. Will take her up to around Christmas time with a winner on her first night. Phenomenal stuff. She had 6 or 7 rides, already ridden a winner. So congratulations to you, Holly. Alex, before we move on to Jose, you've also got some news about where we'll see Ka Ying Rising next.
Yeah, the reports are that he's come back from the Everest and been in quarantine, and he's filled out. He's eating incredible. His weight's incredible, and he looks like he's ready to run. So seemingly the next target is the Bank of China sprints. Was it September 23rd? A couple weeks. So kicking down the barn. And yeah, I guess you kind of have to agree, right? Because you're on October 18th. That's a long gap to HKIR and the sprint there. So a prep run for him. And we'll be looking forward to that as well. Anytime that horse touches the track, it's a special moment, regardless of grade. So, you know, he's at 14 right now. That'll put him at 15. Mm-hmm. If he wins the sprint, that's 16. and that would put him into the 1400 meter race in February to go for the tie of Silent Witness. So again, a bold prediction last season, Brownie, and we might see it come to fruition.
Yeah, it's going to be great to see him make his return to Hong Kong after his Australian sojourn too, particularly after when we had Zach on a couple of weeks ago, and he says he thinks that trip is going to do him the world of good as well, and he's just going to come back an even better horse than what he is and more mature. So really looking forward to seeing Ka Ying Rising in a couple of weeks' time make his return to the races there at Sha Tin. We might have to ask Jose D'Angelo if he's heard of Ka Ying Rising, because that could be one of the horses he takes on with one of the runners that he has entered for HKIR. Jose is currently in the green room waiting for us, so let's get over to him. Well, it's terrific to be joined by trainer Jose D'Angelo, who in the space of less than an hour last Saturday at Del Mar cemented his place in Breeders' Cup history with back-to-back wins with Shisospicy in the turf sprint and Bentornato in the sprint. Jose, welcome. How has the last 6 days been for you since those incredible wins?
Thank you very much for having me here today. Very happy about the results. Was the races that we planned to run all the year. That's why we're traveling with these horses from Miami to Kentucky, from Kentucky to New York, from New York to the other states. Some states that where the horses not run, just train. For example, Bentornato went to Saratoga just to train and get ready to go to Churchill. So that's made like everything that we did work at perfect.
Yeah. And of course, Bentornato was second in the race last year behind Straight No Chaser, but you had to be very, very patient with him in 2025. He raced just once between his two Breeders' Cup appearances. Why was that?
I had to scratch him on the Malibu last year where he was a huge favorite after Ram Breeders' Cup in Santa Anita. So we talked time with him. He had a little bone bruising, nothing wrong with him, like no fractures, just needs time to refresh him. But when he came back, he got splint. Okay, so I have to stop him again. He's big horse, so easy to lose the condition and got heavy. So on all the way we have, you can imagine all that we think that we have to do with him. Put on diet a little bit, training slow because he's heavy and he want to do everything fast. And you have to go step by step. It's like when you go to the gym and you have time that you don't go to the gym, you came back a little sore. So you have to prevent, like me, like trainer, I have to prevent everything. I have to take care of the muscles before to get the air and everything, especially on him. Like you see, is pretty fast. So, was a long way, but thanks God the owner support me, believe me, trust my job because I have to go. No, everybody, it's like have a Ferrari on the porch. I want to ride. You cannot get a ride. You have to wait. Was pretty hard, but that's what we did it. We went through, perfect. Everything worked perfect.
Yeah, for sure. Sort of a little bit like when Alex and I come back from Hong Kong, we come home a little bit heavy too. So we know what it's like to have to go on to a diet.
Yes.
It takes me a while to work into race shape, let me tell you, Brownie.
Hey, you mentioned your owners being very supportive and patient with you. And then you got an owner just a couple of days before the race as well, a high-profile one that we've seen on documentaries recently. What's it like having Michael Overown as one of your owners now?
Yes, that's the other thing. Like people just see like Mike Gavaron went into Bentornato, but to me it was a responsibility, because they bought into the horse 3 days before. Before the things have to be perfect, but now have to be more than perfect because somebody joined into the horse and not somebody, good owner that buy good horses, like you want to do good, for everybody. So what's more pressure, but like I say, thanks God, everything worked perfect. We sold the horse, we won, everybody happy, just smiles on the paddock.
Now you got the Jesus Team saddlecloth in the background. That was an incredible story.
Yes.
Where you were driving him track to track and getting in the biggest races. To go from driving your own horse to the races to back-to-back Breeders' Cup wins. What kind of journey is that like?
I feel like God have plans for everybody. I came from Venezuela where I trained there. I was on my prime there. I trained before come here like 180 horses. It's a lot there. There just you run 2 days per week. So just imagine like having 180 horses. Like so when I come here, I just starting with 3 horses. When I had Jesus' team, probably 10 horses. Okay, 8 horses, something like that, and owned by the friends of my university, my college in Venezuela. They owns my horses here. So I have to left Miami, because my plan was get Jesus thing into the Kentucky Derby, but was on COVID year, so everything was different. I went to Monmouth to run the Haskell. From the Haskell, we run the Pegasus at Monmouth, okay, and that's why the horse get the points for getting to the Derby. But I don't went to the Derby because I feel that here I'm gonna win the Derby. I gonna like I gonna make like 2 steps behind on my plan. So I decide go to the Jim Dandy in Saratoga where ran third against Mystic Guy, and later to the Preakness where he ran third against Sweet Skydiver and Authentic. So this horse put me on the map. I owe a lot to him. That's why I have here, his shoes and his Salad Tower where when he ran the Breeders' Cup, we ran second. I know everybody with him. I traveled to all the places with him, and that led me, you know, introduced to the people and know how is the game here, because here in America everything is different. You have to get different license for every state. You have to get application, different medication for every state. Everything is different here. So with him, I learned step by step. To probably go with 7 horses can be a mess for somebody that came from Venezuela and I don't know how to speak English. Like just improving step by step, and now a little better. And thank you, ChatGPT too.
I mean, it's so hard for horsemen too. And I've always said, if you don't have the right horse, it's so hard to pass on the temptation of the Kentucky Derby. I mean, it's everybody wants to win, but if your horse gets dinged up, beat up, it sets you back 6, 8, 9 months. So it's just a
Yes.
credit to you, and again, awesome to see your success there.
Yeah, for
Yes,
sure.
no, thank you. I'm not patient person, but with horses I have enough patience.
How proud has your family been of you after this past weekend, Jose?
Like everybody's proud, everybody's happy. My friends, like like I dedicate now like 1 or more hour to back the text message inbox. Like all the social media, all the stuff. Everybody's so happy. But to me, like I just try to keep calm, like my face my foot on the grounds, just work hard every day. That's is just like the result of all the hard work on the year. But some years we lose too. So you have to take the good and the bad things and just go forward, learn, and have them ready.
I was reading a bit of your story, and you said you left school to go to become a trainer, and I too left school to do horse racing stuff as well. And it takes a certain level of confidence in yourself. So I'm sure on a day like the Breeders' Cup, when you win 2 races, it validates all the risk and all the
Yes,
questions. And yeah,
yes,
it's
was tough because when like when I decided became trainer, my father was retired. My father, I learned from him. Like the only thing that he put to me like condition is I finish the school, the university. So I say, well, yes. Like I start with 5 horses there, and at some point I go to like 120 horses. But you know how is the horse business? You have to be on the pond, have to condition book entries, meetings, everything. So just I need like 1 semester to get my title. But I decided, hey, yeah, I don't wanna do nothing with that. I have to be focused on my job, and pay off, hard work pay off.
absolutely.
For sure. Now, we've got to talk Shisospicy as well, who was a dominant winner of the turf sprint. In fact, your two winners were probably the most dominant of the weekend. She's
Yes.
she's nominated for the Hong Kong sprint on International Day at Sha Tin next month, along with Howard Wolowitz, another one of your horses who's nominated for the sprint and the mile, I noticed. Before I ask about your plans with both of those horses, Jose, I just want to check, have you ever heard of a Hong Kong horse called Ka Ying Rising?
No, I don't hear. Honestly, no.
Okay, maybe don't go and ask ChatGPT about Ka Ying Rising just yet. Then until we find out what your plans are. Are we a chance of seeing you with Shisospicy or Howard Wolowitz in Hong Kong next month?
And I really wants to go there. The people that run there, they send me everything. Stephanie sent everything to me, and like, looks amazing. Looks the race course is, huge. For sure gonna be a good experience. But like, I'm waiting to see if the field is ready, because was a long trip. Remember, she traveled from Kentucky to California, but from California she went to the action at Facing Ticton, where she shows probably more than 100 times. So, and later came here. So, I just giving time to her, and if they are ready, for sure we're gonna be there.
Oh, that's awesome.
Love to hear.
You will have to do your research on Ka Ying Rising then. He's the world's top-rated racehorse, the fastest horse in the world, the sprinter. He's the Hong Kong hero. He just went and won a 20 million.
Yes, I hear. Sorry, just I misunderstand, but I hear, because when I got all the information, I have my horse friends from the world. I start asking, hey, who is the horse to beat there? And they told me, like, the horse is free. Yes, hey, you should stay away. Yeah, well, let's see. Let's see if he's a gentleman, for sure we are going to win.
I tell you what, though, Shisospicy kind of won in an authoritative kind of style, similar to Ka Ying Rising, wouldn't you say, Alex?
Yeah, absolutely. And I looked the way she kicked on clear after opening up. It was awesome.
Yeah, I know. The horse runs fast. He's fast.
Someone's got to take it to the Hong Kong champ, Jose.
Yeah, let's see. Probably we're gonna be there.
What doors do you think these two wins at the Breeders' Cup last Saturday on the international world stage are going to open for you now as you continue to plot your path as a successful trainer here in the States?
Thanks God, I feel like we put our name up. It's just not me. Like, we are a team. I work together with my father. My family support me. I have a dream team. Like that. You can see, not for nothing, but our results this year was amazing. Like, where we run stakes, we win. We win at Kentucky Downs. We won at Saratoga. We won at Churchill. We won in Del Mar with the good horses. So just like. Proving like we are working hard and we are having results, but more than the doors and everything. When I enter a horse in the stakes, especially on the stakes, if no matter what, if the horse pay on the odds is 62-1, 90-1 is the long shot, in my mind, they are 9-5. I like them to win. If you see the Breeders' Cup, when I ran Jesus' thing, he was like, I don't know, 60-1, and he ran second against Nick's Go. Just unlucky. Nick's Go have I don't know how many track records. The same at Pegasus World Cup. At Bentornato last year, the same. He was long shot and he lost by head. So like, we were hard, and that's good that have these results this weekend.
Yeah, for sure. And I should just check with you too. Speaking of winning grade ones at Kentucky Downs, Howard Wolowitz, would you go to the sprint or the mile with him in Hong Kong if you were to go that way?
For sure the sprint. We tried the mile after the race at Kentucky Downs, because he had nice gallop out on Kentucky Downs, but he need to go short. Just the problem with him is, like, he cannot run 5 furlongs. It's too short for him, and 1 mile is too long for him. He need the middle. That's why Kentucky Downs is good for him, because with the ups and downs, it's distant numbers are the same in English or Spanish, but it's, you need like more stamina to cover these grounds.
Yeah, right. So you could have a 2-pronged attack. Well, the more chances, the better when you're taking on Ka Ying Rising, Alex?
You need a 10-prong attack.
Let's see.
Yeah, for sure. Anything else for Jose, Alex?
No, that was awesome. And again, congratulations. It was a pleasure chatting with you.
Thank you, Alex. Hope to see you taking some photos soon.
Absolutely.
Thanks so much, Jose. Congratulations again on an incredible Saturday, Breeders' Cup Saturday at Del Mar last weekend. It was just fantastic watching you and your whole team celebrate, not just once, but twice in the space of an hour.
Yes.
Really exciting. We wish you all the best future success, and fingers crossed, we will see you at Sha Tin in Hong Kong in 6 weeks' time.
Yes. Let's work for that.
Okay, I'm sure the horses will let you know if they want to be there. Thanks again, Jose.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Fantastic to catch up with Jose D'Angelo there. Time now for our World Pool Moment of the Week. And for this week's World Pool Moment of the Week, we couldn't go past the race that stops a nation, the Melbourne Cup at Flemington Racecourse. Jockey Jamie Mellon becoming just the second female jockey to win the race. She was aboard Half Yours, the horse she won the Caulfield Cup on just a couple of weeks prior. An incredible ride from Jamie too. Patient and strong. Congrats to trainers Tony and Calvin McAvoy and all the connections of Half Yours on that incredible win in last Tuesday's Melbourne Cup. Did you have any luck in the Melbourne Cup, Alex?
I went 1-3-4. I didn't have the Irish horse in the mix. I was just playing exactas to catch a huge price. So, but it was incredible to watch and so much fun. And it's a race that Brownie, my favorite movie when I was a kid was Far Lap. So I mean, I've been following that race for quite some time, but awesome to see her in that little gap that she was able to navigate through.
Yeah.
Was an incredible ride. I was reading some comments on Twitter that said the race was boring. And I was like, what are you talking about? Like that move was worth the price of admission to me.
Yeah, it was pretty amazing. I think her husband, Ben Mellon, who was also riding in the race, might have been one of the horses that just conveniently moved over to the right, possibly.
Hey, it's what's mine is yours, what yours is mine. Is that how it goes?
I think so, yeah. All right, well, of course, World Pool Racing rolls on in Melbourne this weekend with All Stars weekend at Flemington on Saturday. And there's also a card in Germany, which is worth taking a note at from an HKIR perspective, because Junko, the Vase winner of not last year, but 2 years ago now, wasn't it? 2023 Hong Kong Vase winner Junko, who's also entered in this year's Vase as well, will line up in the Group 1 Grosser Preis von Bayern in Munich there. So that will be interesting, and that's another World Pool fixture for racing this weekend. And we've also got a great card coming up at Sha Tin. And the feature race at Sha Tin on Saturday night is the Sasa Ladies Purse, a Group 3 contested over 1,800 metres. That's about 1.1 miles on the sea, +3 turf. Terrific field. Beauty Joy back after running third behind My Wish in the Sha Tin Trophy a couple of weeks back. Chang Glory returns from his great performance in Seoul, Korea. Cap Ferrar also came out of the Sha Tin Trophy. He was 8th that day, but held up. Purton jumps on, and Shude is the defending champion of this race. Massive Sovereign, 4th last out when he resumed in the Panasonic Cup over a mile. Ruby Lot steps up to the 1,800 metres for his 3rd run of this form cycle, drawn a little wide. A look at the speed map has Pray for Mur. Leading behind him is Sword Point, 3 wide outside California Totality and Chang Glory. Alex, what a great race. Who do you like?
I like Cap Ferrar, and he's just the one that I can never seem to get on at the right time, unfortunately. But he moves up with Purton, and the 1,600 meter was never going to be his ideal distance. He's much better suited 18 to 2,000 to 2,200 if he could get it. So that's the horse that I'm going to end up being on. I like him, and I like him mixed with Ensued and Massive Sovereign, with Ferraris getting aboard for the first time to kind of bounce back here and get into form.
Yeah, I like those numbers. Cap Ferrar, you got to include him on the Purton factor alone. Has to be a big danger and was unlucky last out. I thought Ruby Lot's 2 runs this campaign have been encouraging, and I've got him as my on-top selection. Gets to a more suitable distance now. Has to overcome that tricky gate, but he comes home late. So if there is speed on up front, look for him late. So I've got him on top of Cap Ferrar and Chang Chang Glory, always consistent. Will just be interesting to see how he performs after his recent international trip. But yeah, Ruby Lot in front of Cap Ferrar and Chang Chang Glory for me in the feature race on Saturday night, North American time at Sha Tin. My best bet actually comes up in one of the night's other big races, the Nightcap, the Santa Monica Handicap, and I think Steps Ahead will be hard to beat there for Lyle Hewitson, having his 4th run of the form cycle after a couple of solid runner-up efforts. You got a best bet for us?
Yeah, Brownie, I'm actually going against you in that race. I like Beauty Crescent.
Nice.
He gets an easy barrier there from the fence, and with Angus he gets 2 pounds off, so he's carrying 113. So we might have to pair our horses up in this race. And then also in that race, we got, I'm gonna butcher this name, Shanwa. First up for Douglas Wyatt, but he comes over on a rating of, I believe he's 83. So he is a 4-year-old for the Classic Series. He's in the series with a rating that high already. So no need to really win here, but one to keep an eye on for the series in a couple months. And if he can just kind of progress through his conditioning, he might be one to keep an eye on for the Classic Series and the BMW Hong Kong Derby.
I'd just give it a little bit of a Shanwa.
Shanwa?
Shanwa.
Shamwow? Hi, Billy Mays here.
Could be a Shamwow. All right. What a show. It's been fantastic. I think we've covered a lot of ground. Have you got anything else that you wanted to share with our audience before we sign off for the week?
No, I just got to rest up so that I can get some action on Sha Tin on Saturday night.
Great stuff. Well, as we mentioned, it's going to be interesting watching the jockeys as well, vying for those final placings in IJC, which is coming up in 6 weeks' time. I keep saying 6 weeks. It is about 6 weeks, isn't it? I think I saw my flight. I logged into my flight itinerary just to see where I was sitting on the plane the other day, and it said 32 days until your flight. So that's pretty exciting, isn't it? We're just 32 days away from flying to Hong Kong, and I'll be there for about a week before Sha Tin and a few days. Well, yeah, so that means 29 days until IJC, basically.
When do you get in?
I get in on the Monday night.
Okay. So I'm going to have a couple more breakfasts than you, which is problematic. I'm going to have to go like walk now or do some sort of exercises because I plan on eating 14 breakfasts.
When does the breakfast start?
Monday morning.
Right. Well, I'll be there Tuesday morning, so you're just going to have one extra breakfast. That's not too bad.
Well, one extra, but it's like before track work, after track work, while editing. It turns into 2 to 3 a day.
You're right. Okay, I'm going to try and lose a few pounds between now and then so that I can put on a few pounds at breakfast time. Cannot wait to get back to Hong Kong. If you haven't been to Hong Kong, by the way, for International Week, IJC on the Wednesday night at Happy Valley, Sha Tin on the Sunday for International Day. Put it on your calendar now. If not for this year, put it on for next year. If you love the Breeders' Cup, the Kentucky Derby, Preakness, Belmont, all these big races across America, you are going to love Hong Kong during International Week. It is sensational. All right, I think that's all we've got time for this week. Thanks as always, Alex.
Thank you, Brownie.
And we'll see you next week on the Hong Kong Racing Show.